So about 2 weeks later, I find a voicemail on my shitty cell phone, and it's her. And she says, "Oh, hi, it's me. I just was calling. I wanted you to know that I hadn't forgotten about you, and I am going to pay you back, but I don't have the money now, and it's close to Christmas, so I don't know when I'm going to have the money, but this is me, and this is my number, and you can call me back," and blah, 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 blah. So I call her back, and ring, 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 nothing. Fine. I figure, okay, that just gives me time to think about what I want to do about this situation, right? And honestly, the very first thought that I had was, it's Christmas, it's the holidays, who cares, just tell her it's a gift. The money came in, it was gone, you really don't need it that much anyway. I mean, if you needed it, you would still have it, right? So it's only money. And then immediately, after that sentence, I thought, no, wait a minute, yes, it is only money, but technically, that money was and still is your weed money. And if you got that back, you could do something with it. Well, I can't argue with that logic, so the next day I call her back, and it rings twice, and this man answers, and it's this aggressive voice. "Who is this?" So I tell him who I am and why I'm calling, and I ask if the girl is available, and he says, "I'm her father, and if you want your money, I'll give it to you." "Okay, man, where are you?" "I don't care, I'm not in it for anything else other than the money, so just tell me where you're at." And turns out he owns this deli / grocery store, and it's not that far from where I am, but without a car it's still a walk and a bus ride and another walk, kind of a pain in the butt, but there's money at the end of it. So I go, I do the bit, I get to the store, I find him behind the counter, introduce myself, and after the pleasantries he says, "So, tell me what happened." I tell him basically everything that I told you. And I get to the point where the bus is pulled out, we've just played 20 questions, and we're both standing there, and I tell him. Now this was the moment that I knew that she was sincere. Because when I looked at her, I noticed that she was trembling. And I got the feeling that it wasn't just because it was a cold November night. No, there was more going on here. This girl was in trouble, she needed help. I was in a position to help her, so I helped her. Pretty simple. So as I'm saying this to the dad, I notice that a tear wells up right here on the edge of his eyelid. Doesn't fall, it just hangs there like a good manly tear should do. And I notice it. He knows that I noticed it. I know that he knows that I've noticed it. But I don't say anything about it because we're men, right? We don't have time for that emotional stuff. So I keep going with the story, and I tell him about the taxi, and she goes on her way and all of that stuff. And he thanks me for helping his daughter. And I notice that that tear is sucked right back into his face like a good manly tear should do. And then he tells me his story. And yes, he had broken English, but he had a strong enough handle on the language that even through his accent, I could just picture his whole situation. And he told me he and his wife got married in mainland China and immigrated to the United States with the intention of pursuing the American dream. And this grocery store / deli was going to be the foundation of all of their successes. But when they got here, it was hard. It was a lot harder than either of them had possibly guessed it could be. And they had to work and work and work. And his wife became disappointed, then disenchanted. And that led to divorce. And what that meant was she left him. She left him for another guy. And when she left him to run the grocery store / deli and raise their 3 kids all by himself. And he told me he had 2 boys and this girl, and she was the youngest, and she was 17 years old. And he told me how hard it had been for him as a single father over these couple of years trying to raise these teenage children and run this store all by himself. And I said, I get it, man. I understand. I mean, I come from a family of divorces. I don't think marriage lasts at all, personally, but, you know, that's just me. So when I hear a divorce story, I know what you're talking about. And I tell him this, and then things just kind of hold for a minute, and it starts to feel a little awkward. So I say, okay, well, I guess I better. And he says, no, hold on a second. Are you hungry? Do you want anything? Some lunch? Anything? Are you hungry? And I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm good. No, really. All this food is fresh. You can have whatever you want. Go ahead, whatever you want. No, seriously. Okay, well, I guess slice of pizza and maybe a soda. Are you sure? That's all you want is a soda? Yeah, that's it. I'm good. All this food is fresh. You can have whatever you want. Have some lunch. Go ahead. Tell you what, do you have a bathroom? I mean, oh, okay. Yeah, just go around and it's in back. And I didn't really need to use the bathroom. I mean, when I did, I used the bathroom, but what I needed was to get away from that emotion. That was too awkward. It started to get embarrassing for me. I needed to center my head again and figure out what was happening. So I was in the bathroom, I did my bit, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, splash water on my face. I'm like, okay, you're gonna get a free meal out of this. That's cool. Everything else is fine. Nothing to worry about. Let's go ahead. So I go out, go back to the guy. He's already got my food and my soda. He hands it to me. He says, I just want to thank you very much for helping my daughter. No problem. Anytime. I mean, hopefully there won't be another time, but no problem. No need to thank me. He hands me an envelope and he says, you're welcome back anytime. You want to come here, you're welcome. Say, thank you very much, sir. I take the food, I take the envelope. There's no need to check the envelope in the moment. I don't want to insult the guy and make sure the money's there. I mean, I take everything and I leave. I go 2 blocks down the street to where I'm comfortable that nobody who's looking at me knows who I am, why I'm there, or what I'm doing. I'm just going to look like some homeless guy eating his lunch, and that's fine with me. So I open the envelope. There's $100 in it, cash. I gave the daughter $60 for a taxi ride home. The father returned $100 for what I did for his daughter. And inside the envelope, I found this note. And I wish I still had this note, but, you know, stoner priorities. Anyway, it was so endearing because in this childish, handwritten, not childish, kindergarten English, you know, just like not comfortable writing so much. Very simple, it said, thank you very much for helping my daughter. You are a friend to the family for life. If you ever need anything, let us know. And then under that was his signature, and it was perfect. You could tell the man had signed a lot of contracts in his life. So, anyway, I sat with my lunch, and I thought about everything that had happened, and I realized in that moment, maybe I was relearning this lesson, maybe it was something that I had to learn for the first time. I wasn't sure, but I realized that this was how you could make a friend for life, simply by doing the right thing. But I didn't dwell on that too much because I had $100 cash burning a hole in my pocket and I had a phone call to make.